What stops your voice? Do you fear speaking up even when the truth is pounding within you? Well, God has showed me how confrontation is a gift. He's given it to us. And in this season, He's calling us to use this gift, but of course, covered with truth and love. For without it, many are going to perish. Hosea 4:6 says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." So if we keep everything in and we don't share the truth of God out in the proper way, then what's going to happen is many, in fact, generations are going to be destroyed. We can no longer allow the watered down version of truth to corrupt our souls. I heard the Lord say that confrontation is a gift. This gift, when put into action, will not only save our souls from corruption, but will also save the next generation. For many of us, the word confrontation produces an array of emotions. I know for me, it's high levels of anxiety, tension, uncomfortableness, and overall fear of engaging in any type of conflict. Confrontation may be one of the most scariest words ever spoken. I bet you feel that way too, or many of you do. And I think that we need to start understanding that confrontation can be used in a healthy way. You know, I've always been a person that just went with the flow. And I thought it was a great way to be, but then I discovered something very strongly that was happening on the inside. It was damaging me. And every time I did not speak up or voice an opinion or confront in any way, I could feel this just damaging the insides of me. Most of the time, I just sucked in my breath and took whatever was being said. And yet, on the other side, I had a very good friend. And she was somebody who was very boisterous. She was just very aggressive. And she was always confronting. And what I discovered is that neither of these approaches work. So whether you just suck your voice in or whether you just push it out all the time, what happens is the one that sucks it in loses their voice and it get lost on the inside, while the other one loses on the outside. She lost friends, and I separated myself from friends. Both approaches do not work. So confrontation is a gift when it's used properly, because it can result in receiving respect, creating strong relationships, healthy conversation, and mutual understanding. And when we look at it as conflict, it can become scary and painful. But if we consider confrontation as a form of resolution, it becomes a powerful resource that empowers us. Those who fear confrontations, we allow our emotions to overpower our ability to communicate comfortably and effectively. It results in our isolation. We lack confidence, and ultimately we lose any power that we thought we had. But when we learn to confront, we also learn how to implement self-control, honesty, and ways to self-protect. Confrontation is a way to gain back your power. Power over who you are, power over your feelings, power over your choices, and then ultimately you're going to receive respect. Several years ago, I had two major conflicts going on in my life. And one was at my workplace, which eventually this seeped into my church life. And some of my coworkers and I had exposed a wrong that was harming younger people. From this, we were targeted with threats on a daily basis. This became very public. It was just an array of conflict that was going on. And at the same time, due to this conflict and a lack of really understanding around the situation, it began to seep over into my church family. And this caused a major divide, not just at my workplace, but also at my church. It was a time of intense confusion and destruction of relationships. I could no longer go with the flow. This was a time when God had called me to stand up for the wrong that was taking place and protect those who were taken advantage of. It was in this situation that I learned how to confront and not allow the fear of whatever others thought about me to quiet my voice. It was this time that God forced my voice to just enter into a new level of truth. I lost some friendships during that time and relationships changed, but it was because I changed. I no longer was just standing by taking whatever was happening. And as a result of this, things changed in the workplace. People were protected in the workplace. Difficult as it was at that time, many young people were saved from the devastation that was taking place. And I'm glad that I found my voice. Do you want to find your voice? Then it's time that you understood that this gift of confrontation is necessary. And when used in the proper way, it is a powerful tool to use to stand up to what has been wrong or injustice that has taken place. Confrontation is a gift that God has given you to save a generation. And I say this because I believe today, with so many of us not able to speak up, we're being bullied at a higher level than I've ever seen before. And what we do is most of us are just sucking our breaths in, or we're managing it in such a horrible way that it's not being heard, because either way, we don't get heard. Either way, our message doesn't get out there. But when we do this in a way that is powerful and through the Lord, in how to speak that truth out with love, with that truth that's covered with grace, then I know that what He's calling us to do right now is for truth tellers to stand up. There have been much injustice going on in the world today. And there are lies that have intentions of destroying our families and our friendships. So over the next few episodes, I'm going to address some points to help us stand up verbally so we can implement truth to a new level. So begin. I know many of you feel the same way I do. You're on one side or the other on this. You're either sucking it in or you're just pushing it out with such a force that neither is being heard. So I want you to begin today by seeking how you have been reluctant or hesitant in speaking up. Do a wellness check on how you were damaged on the inside or damaged on the outside. And then I want you to go to the Lord and just ask Him for a direct step in retrieving your voice. I got my voice back. And when I did, it was I just felt like I received my power back because I had given my power away to all those and their words and what they thought. It's time for you to get your power back, to get your voice back, to be who you were called to be in the Lord. Remember, confrontation is a gift that God has given you to save a generation.